I spent 6 months traveling across Asia. I explored the pristine beaches of Thailand, the modern efficiency of Singapore, the ancient temples of Cambodia, the organized chaos of Tokyo, and the tranquil mountains of Nepal. I thought I understood Asia. I thought I'd seen everything this incredible continent had to offer. Then I arrived in India, and within 48 hours, everything I thought I knew about travel, about culture, and about myself was completely shattered. India wasn't just different from other Asian countries. It was a completely different universe. It challenged me, frustrated me, amazed me, and ultimately transformed me in ways no other country could. This isn't going to be a typical travel video where I tell you India is amazing or terrible. The truth is more complicated. India is both the most beautiful and most overwhelming place I've ever experienced. It's deeply spiritual, yet incredibly chaotic. It's ancient, yet rapidly modernizing. It's the most generous place I've been, and also the most exhausting. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what shocked me about India, the good, the bad, and the completely unexpected. From the moment I landed in Delhi to my final days in Kerala, this is my honest truth about traveling India after experiencing the rest of Asia. And by the end, you'll understand why India isn't just another Asian country. It's something entirely different. Let's dive in. Shock number 1. The sensory overload that never stops. I landed at Delhi's Indira Gandhi Airport at 2 a.m., exhausted from my flight. I thought arriving at night would ease me into India gently. I was wrong. The moment I stepped outside the airport, I was hit by a wall of sensation unlike anything I'd experienced in 6 months of Asian travel. The heat, even at 2 a.m., was thick and heavy. The smell was a mixture of incense, spices, exhaust, and something indefinable that I'd later recognize as just India. The noise was constant. Honking, shouting, engines, music, all layered on top of each other. And the people, hundreds of taxi drivers, hotel touts, and travelers, all moving in organized chaos. This is nothing like Thailand, I remember thinking. In Bangkok, even the chaotic areas felt manageable. In Singapore, everything was orderly. In Tokyo, the crowds moved with precision. But Delhi was something else entirely. It was sensory overload that never stopped. I spent my first 3 days in Delhi in a state of shock. Every street crossing felt dangerous. Traffic rules seemed optional, and vehicles came from every direction simultaneously. Every transaction required negotiation. Every conversation was louder than I expected. Every meal was more intensely flavored than anything I'd eaten in Southeast Asia. You'll adjust, assured Rajesh, a local guide I hired on day 4. India takes time. You can't understand it in 3 days, or 3 weeks, or even 3 months. India reveals itself slowly, and only to those who are patient. He was right, but in those early days, I genuinely considered leaving. India felt too intense, too overwhelming, too much. Nothing in my 6 months across Asia had prepared me for this level of intensity. Shock number 2, the poverty and wealth living side by side. I'd seen poverty before. I'd walked through poor neighborhoods in Manila, rural villages in Cambodia, and slums in Bangkok. But India's poverty was different, not just in scale, but in how it existed right alongside extreme wealth. In Mumbai, I stayed in a hotel in Bandra that cost $150 per night, comparable to nice hotels in Singapore. From my window, I could see luxury apartment buildings worth millions of dollars. But directly below, on the street, families lived in makeshift tents on the sidewalk. Children played in traffic. People bathed from public taps. This juxtaposition was everywhere. In Delhi, I visited a shopping mall where people bought designer handbags, then walked outside to streets where barefoot children begged for food. In Bangalore, I saw gleaming tech campuses surrounded by neighborhoods without proper sanitation. India contains all of human experience simultaneously, explained Priya, a social worker I met in Mumbai. We have billionaires and slum dwellers, ancient villages and modern cities, extreme poverty and extreme wealth, all existing in the same space. Other countries separate these realities. India forces you to see them together. This constant confrontation with inequality was emotionally exhausting. In Japan, poverty existed but was hidden. In Singapore, the poor were in housing estates outside tourist areas. But in India, you couldn't escape it. Every taxi ride, every meal, Every temple visit put you face to face with people struggling to survive. I struggled with this. How do you enjoy a $30 meal when someone outside is hungry? How do you photograph beautiful places when people living there need help? These weren't abstract questions. They were daily moral dilemmas that other Asian countries didn't force me to confront so directly. Shock number 3. The hospitality that broke my heart. Despite the poverty, despite the challenges, Indians showed me hospitality that put every other Asian country to shame. And I say that having experienced the legendary hospitality of Thailand and Japan. In Rajasthan, my taxi broke down in the middle of nowhere, a small village hours from Jaipur. Within minutes, villagers surrounded us. I expected annoyance or demands for money. Instead, they invited us into their homes, fed us chai and homemade snacks, refused payment, and helped fix the taxi. When I tried to give money as thanks, they looked genuinely offended. "You are our guest," the elderly woman explained through my driver's translation. In India, guests are God. We don't take money for treating God properly. This happened repeatedly. In Varanasi, a family invited me into their home for dinner after seeing me eating alone at a restaurant. In Kerala, strangers helped me find accommodation when everything was booked. In small towns across India, people went absurdly out of their way to help me, not for money, but because helping travelers is considered a duty. Indians are the most generous people on earth, I told my friend over video call. They have so little, yet they share everything. In Japan, service was professional but distant. In Thailand, hospitality was warm but transactional. In India, people genuinely care about your well-being, even when they're struggling themselves. This generosity broke my heart because it made India's poverty even more painful to witness. The people who had the least gave the most. The families struggling to feed themselves still shared food with me. The contrast between their material poverty and spiritual richness was overwhelming. Shock number 4. The spiritual depth you can actually feel. I'm not particularly religious or spiritual. I visited temples in Thailand as a tourist. I found peace in Japanese gardens, but didn't experience anything profound. I meditated in Bali, but honestly was just trying to relax. India was different. The spirituality wasn't just in temples. It was everywhere, woven into every aspect of daily life in a way I'd never experienced. In Varanasi, I watched the Ganga Aarti, the evening prayer ceremony on the Ghats. Thousands gathered as priests performed rituals with fire, bells, and chants. I expected it to feel like a performance for tourists. Instead, I felt something shift inside me. People weren't watching. They were participating with genuine devotion. This wasn't heritage tourism. This was living faith. "You feel it, yes?" said an elderly sadhu sitting next to me. India's spirituality isn't in buildings. It's in the air, the water, the people. You can't explain it. You can only feel it. He was right. I spent time in Rishikesh, the yoga capital of the world, expecting Western yoga studios. Instead, I found authentic ashrams where people lived and breathed spiritual practice. I attended morning prayers in small temples where devotion was raw and real, not curated for Instagram. Even non-religious spaces felt different. Markets had small shrines. Taxi drivers had idols on dashboards and prayed before driving. Shopkeepers did puja, worship, before opening. Strangers blessed me unprompted. This wasn't spirituality as a weekend activity. It was integrated into every moment. Other Asian countries have religion, I wrote in my journal. India has spirituality that's inseparable from existence itself. You can be atheist in Japan and fit in fine. In India, you can't escape the sacred. It's embedded in everything. Shock number 5. The food that ruined me for everything else. I thought I loved Asian food. Thai cuisine was my favorite, balanced, flavorful, diverse. Japanese food was exquisite, precise, elegant, refined. Vietnamese food was fresh and vibrant. Chinese food was varied and delicious. Then I ate in India, and I realized I'd been eating Asian food in black and white. Indian food was full color with the volume turned up to maximum. The flavors weren't just strong, they were layered, complex, and different in every region. South Indian dosas and sambar bore no resemblance to North Indian butter chicken and naan. Bengali fish curry was completely different from Gujarati dhokla. Goan cuisine with Portuguese influence was nothing like Rajasthani desert food. India doesn't have one cuisine, explained Chef Amit at a Mumbai restaurant. It has dozens of distinct cuisines that evolved over thousands of years in different regions with different ingredients, religions, and influences. Saying you like Indian food is like saying you like European food. It's too broad to mean anything. He was absolutely right. I spent weeks eating my way through India and barely scratched the surface. Street food in Delhi, seafood in Kerala, thalis in Gujarat, Kashmiri wazwan, Hyderabadi biryani, Bengali sweets. Each region was a completely different culinary world. And the spices. Oh, the spices. My tolerance for chili grew exponentially. What I once considered spicy in Thai food became mild. Indian food recalibrated my entire understanding of flavor intensity. But here's what shocked me most. Despite the intensity, Indian food was incredibly vegetarian-friendly. As someone who'd struggled finding vegetarian options in China and Vietnam, India was paradise. Vegetarianism wasn't a restriction. It was celebrated, sophisticated, and absolutely delicious. Shock number 6. The chaos that somehow functions. Indian traffic is legendary, and I thought I was prepared. I'd navigated Bangkok's traffic, survived Jakarta's roads, and ridden motorbikes in Vietnam. But Indian traffic was different. It looked like complete chaos, yet somehow it functioned. In Mumbai, I watched 6 lanes of traffic somehow occupy an 8-lane road. Cars, motorcycles, auto rickshaws, pedestrians, cows, and handcarts all moved simultaneously in different directions with seemingly no rules. Horns honked constantly. Space was negotiated through eye contact and courage. There are rules, my driver Ravi insisted. You just can't see them because you're looking for Western rules. Indian traffic has its own logic. He was right. After weeks of observation, I realized Indian traffic was organized chaos. Everyone communicated constantly through horns, hand signals, and subtle movements. People looked out for each other. Accidents were surprisingly rare despite the apparent disorder. This pattern repeated everywhere. Train stations looked chaotic, but millions traveled efficiently. Markets seemed disorganized, but commerce flowed smoothly. Government offices appeared bureaucratic nightmares, yet somehow people got things done. India teaches you that order and chaos aren't opposites, observed Sarah, a British expat who'd lived in Mumbai for 10 years. They're different forms of organization. Western order is visible, rules, lines, systems. Indian order is invisible, relationships, flexibility, improvisation. Once you understand that, India makes sense. Shock number 7. How India changed me. By my final week in Kerala, I realized India had fundamentally changed how I thought about travel, culture, and life. The transformation was subtle but profound. Other Asian countries I'd visited were wonderful, but they didn't challenge my assumptions. Japan reinforced my appreciation for order. Thailand confirmed that friendliness matters. Singapore showed me efficiency's benefits of efficiency. But India forced me to question everything. It taught me that comfort and growth are opposites. You can't have both simultaneously. It showed me that poverty and generosity can coexist. It proved that chaos and function aren't contradictory. It demonstrated that materialism and spirituality are choices, not inevitabilities. India breaks you down, then builds you back differently, said Tom, an Australian traveler I met in Goa. You arrive thinking you understand the world. You leave knowing you understand nothing. I spent 6 months traveling Asia feeling like an experienced traveler. India humbled me completely. It showed me that knowing 11 Asian countries didn't prepare me for the 12th. It taught me that every place must be experienced on its own terms, not compared to everywhere else. The truth about India. So was India what I expected? Absolutely not. It was harder, more overwhelming, more frustrating, more beautiful, more generous, and more transformative than I could have imagined. Would I recommend India to every traveler? No. If you want comfortable, easy travel, stick to Japan, Singapore, or Thailand. But if you want travel that challenges you, changes you, and shows you perspectives you never knew existed, India is unmatched. India isn't a country you visit casually. It demands your full attention, patience, and openness. It will frustrate you and amaze you, sometimes within the same hour. But if you let it, India will teach you more about yourself than any other place on earth. We want to hear from you. Have you been to India? Did it match your expectations or shock you completely? If you haven't been, does this make you want to visit or avoid it? Share your experiences or questions in the comments. If this video gave you an honest perspective on traveling India, smash that like button and subscribe.